Welcome to the Frustrated Grad podcast. I'm Zach, and I'm bringing along my co-host, writer, movie fan, wrestling fan, all-around nerd, Wizard World attendee, Tony Hoffman.
One of thousands, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going, Zach?
What's up? We're doing it again. It's another version of the Frustrated Wrestling Fan. This
You guys asked for it.
Yep. You demanded it. WWE listened, and as a result, we're back for number 2. They said we never make it. They said we never make it to number 2. Well, we did.
Number 1 was a little difficult. It burned a little, but number 2, hopefully, we're not too clogged up.
Yep. Let's have a smooth number 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
We're talking about pooping.
Let's not be too corny about it. But, all right. So, like I said, I think WWE listened to us last time because on Raw, and they mentioned it on SmackDown too, but Jon Stewart is going to be back at SummerSlam because they heard about how much we liked him last time.
Exactly. I was thinking wow, what are the odds that was going to happen?
Yeah, so they totally listened to us, and thank you for taking our suggestions.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I was when I saw that they announced that, like, there were some people that on like Twitter, like they were kind of down on it too, like they didn't like him that much the first time, and they were like, oh, why you got to bring him? I'm like,
I don't get it.
I thought it was great.
They are wrong. They are totally missing the awesomeness that was just. I feel like he might have been better on the Raw before, or like the Raw before and after SummerSlam than he was actually on SummerSlam, because that's when he cut his promos and he talked. And the Raw after, I think, is when he told Cena's like, you're not better than Ric Flair, so I had to make sure you didn't beat his title record. So like that stuff was probably the highlight. Him getting involved in like kind of botching the ending when he was interfering on SummerSlam might not have been the highlight, but I'm thinking his involvement is going to be different this year. I'm not even sure if he's going to talk at all because they didn't really put too much emphasis on it.
No, I just saw when he was when he showed up on like Raw and they played like the Daily Show theme, and he was like messing with Seth Rollins and stuff. That was fantastic. Yeah,
that stuff was great, and the Raw after SummerSlam was great. So I'm hoping something like that we see tonight, actually.
Yeah, in Brooklyn.
Yeah. All right, so I guess I'll start out with a little bit of news.
Yeah, lots of stuff that happened. People.
Lots of suspensions. So I'll just run through these really. The first one that came out this week that we heard about, the suspension of Paige for a wellness violation. I don't think I've seen any more detail about what the substance supposedly was.
Drug or supplement it was.
Yeah, and oddly enough, purely by coincidence, a little bit later it was announced that Alberto Del Rio was also hit with a wellness violation.
Was he suspended first and then was paid, or vice versa? But it was like within hours of each other. Which is interesting.
Yeah, so it's like, so I'm thinking it was like some kind of recreational drug, because I'm like,
that's what I'm guessing.
Like couples don't share needles unless you're like crackheads or something, but who knows?
Yeah. And it happened on her birthday.
Yeah. Yeah, because WWE is totally not petty. They totally wouldn't do that on purpose.
No, not petty at all.
And they totally wouldn't send somebody their final.
Yeah, they don't have a reputation.
Yeah, they wouldn't send somebody their final quitting papers on their wedding day. CM Punk. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. That's kind of that was kind of a weird, in the fact that they're like, dating or like whatever, which like that adds to the intrigue. And then
it was already weird enough that they split them up and put them on different shows. It's like it wasn't really necessary, and then now they're both suspended, and they may never be back.
And she hasn't even appeared on.
No, not since the brand split.
No, exactly, because she's been injured, I guess, and I know that on like her Instagram and stuff, she's been posting, her working out and stuff in the gym and stuff, like,
Yeah.
getting back in shape to get ready. So this at least gives her some time to, he can be back in 100%, so we can see some Paige.
Yeah,
Real
but
soon.
it may give her infinite time to do that because
Yeah,
it seemed to
exactly.
be kind of on the out. So I don't know, and that's the really frustrating thing about like the wrestling landscape now is that when stuff like this will happen and people like n- neither of them have been like officially cut, but like when people get fired or whatever, now it's like they kind of drop off the face of the earth. It's like you used to have like a WCW, like they're gonna have great success in WCW, but it's like there's nothing like that now. There's
No.
obviously they can go to TNA, but then it's like I gotta watch TNA to see them now. Because like Damien Sandow, he been gone for a while. Then he shows up at TNA. It's like, oh, that sounds like it could be interesting. But it's like, but it's TNA.
It's TNA. I miss AJ Lee. Whatever happened
Yeah,
to AJ Lee?
she's AJ Brooks now. She's living the life of a
Yeah.
wife with
Yeah.
CM Punk.
Like I was watching, like, I think it was like from 2013. It was the whole
Hmm.
Raw Christmas episode, and like she was there and
A
everything. And
very raw Christmas.
exactly. And that wasn't even like 3 years ago, and she was there, and she was like,
Yeah,
she was like, doing commentary and talking smack about, Eva
yeah,
Marie, Natalia, and all this stuff.
yeah. She did her pipe bomb promo.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, so
she was
she's
so great, but like, mic work and everything, and she,
yeah. It's like
yeah,
some like really missed opportunities out there. Like AJ is obviously one of them, and she spent so much of her time on the roster, like not even wrestling. And then when she got into the peak of like her wrestling career, it didn't even last that long.
yeah.
Uh,
And I know that, like, she and like the Stephanie McMahon and the McMahons are probably not on good terms because of, how the whole
yeah,
CM Punk thing happened, and the, how they ended up getting fired and stuff.
yeah. It's just so weird. But a little bit
We
after those suspensions, we
got another
have
one,
our
not a significant one, but
not a significant one, but it's
it
like the worst timing ever. Although,
it
if they
got
wanted
interesting.
to, they could play into her
Yeah,
gimmick.
exactly.
But
Well, she hurt her leg, and then
yeah, she
was a
wardrobe malfunction,
malfunction,
and
and
then
then it
she was
was
stuck in traffic.
traffic.
Like Eva Marie has
They
been
should.
suspended.
They should mention. Oh, please. Oh, that would be so hard.
That's, I mean, I guess as a heel that would work, but it seems like that's the most legit reason to not
Yeah,
show up for a
exactly. She
match. It's
actually.
like oh, she can't be here
The
because she's
irony of it
suspended.
all. The irony that they were like coming up with these little fake contrived ones for fighting
Yeah,
show, and all of a sudden, well, she actually can.
I mean, I guess back in the day, like when, because I think originally when they started the wellness policy, like people be
Oh,
suspended, but they
06 or
didn't.
whatever.
Yeah, they wouldn't like talk about it on screen. The person would just disappear discreetly and come
Yeah,
back. So I feel like they could just
I think that
ignore
this is just
that.
some like PR crap. It's
Yeah, they
just
have
like, see,
to.
like we care about steroids
Yeah, they
and
have to
drugs.
show that they care because when somebody ODs, they're gonna get sued or whatever.
Yeah,
But the thing is that if they just were gonna play this kayfabe wise and be like, they could just make up some other excuse like she is currently in flight to the arena and her plane has been delayed, so they could just keep acting like they're just finding out these like random ways to stall her.
and I think that we're starting to get some hints that, like, maybe like whatever drug or, that they were using, that's getting them suspended isn't really that serious, because I guess her boyfriend or her husband or something, like, pretty much blasted the
Yeah,
WWE.
yeah, I saw something about that. He was tweeting about how
Once you
unfair
find
it
out like
was.
what she was using, like, you're gonna be like so pissed or whatever.
Yeah, because there's some of these like things that, because I know there's like the testosterone things that like some places say it's illegal, or in some don't. Like if you have a prescription, it's not illegal. You just have to be diagnosed with low T or whatever as a dude. But I don't know. It seems like
Roman Reigns was using like an antidepressant or something.
I don't know. I've heard different things. I've heard that, and I also heard it was like a fat burner. So I don't know, because there's like
Like really?
some of the stuff they used to advertise during Raw, like Stacker 2 stuff. That stuff will probably get you popped now.
Yes, this stuff we used to promote now
Yeah,
you will get suspended for using.
yeah. Like I was just fulfilling my endorsement deal, guys. Um, but yeah, so Eva Marie is, we would assume, not even going to be referenced at SummerSlam. I guess she has to have a replacement. So
But who do you think is going to replace her? There's some rumors that
yeah, one rumor is that Nikki Bella would come back
which would
and
be
be the
awesome.
replacement.
Which
Yeah,
would be
because
such a wonderful like mistake for the like a
yeah, like
wonderful coincidence.
yeah, because like okay, she's cleared to return. One thing I would love is that is if Bailey used this as her way to debut, but she already came out in a tag team match, and I'm
Yeah.
kind of hoping that she ends up on Raw, so it wouldn't make sense for her to debut in this like SmackDown mixed tag or SmackDown tag match. So uh,
I
Nikki
know
Bella
that's
is probably the top
yeah.
contender for that
It kind
spot.
of looks that way. I mean, they've
Yeah,
got like what? Okay, Paige is suspended, Del Rio suspended, and even Maria suspended. So somebody's got to, you know, somebody's got to appear now.
yeah. So yeah, so it's probably gonna be Nikki Bella. We'll see what happens. Um, and
The
last thing is kind of a, I guess, in other diva or women's wrestler or potential women's wrestler news, WWE has reportedly been scouting Olympic wrestler Adeline Gray. So
I
she's
haven't been watching the Olympics, so you're gonna have to clue me in on the who Adeline Gray is.
she's a U.S. Olympic wrestler. I think she won gold in Brazil. I'm pretty sure. And yeah, they say that I think she's been contacted, but I don't know if there's any more detail about that. But they've been they've been watching her and they're impressed. I guess they're thinking along the lines of, I mean, they've have had a few people at this point. Obviously, Kurt Angle comes to mind. They want that legit credibility of somebody
Yeah,
being a
an
gold medalist, a
actual
real wrestler.
wrestler.
So you got that. We've got obviously the amateur career of Brock Lesnar, which
hmm
just adds some legitimacy. So I think that'd be interesting.
I mean, that'd be good for her. I mean, like I was thinking as you were saying, like what else is she gonna do? Like
Yeah,
in terms of like the next step after, you know, Olympic wrestling.
yeah. So yeah, from what I'm looking at, I'm not sure if she's medaled yet. It looks like she's a 3-time world champion though, and she won the junior world championship at age 17, and
Nice.
she is currently in the Rio Olympics. I'm not sure if she's medaled, but
Yeah, it's like the only thing I've been paying attention to with the Olympics is was that Ryan Loki douche
Lochte,
and
yeah,
Locky, whatever the hell his name is, and the whole
yeah, that whole ordeal is just
fiasco.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
And
boys will be boys.
yeah, bros, swimming
Bros.
bros.
I somebody like mentioned something on like Facebook that I retweeted. Like he's pretty much like the human version of like a Wrigleyville bro,
Yeah,
like Cubs
yeah,
game
totally.
douche. Yeah,
Yeah, just replace his American flag grill with like a Cubs grill, same colors.
exactly.
But yeah, that whole thing is just a mess. So he claimed he was robbed,
He
and
claimed that he was robbed.
he
And
stood up to the
him and a couple of other former teammates were in a cab, and they claimed they got robbed at gunpoint. And
yeah,
then they were flying back to the U.S. and they got pulled off the flight because there were some like parts of his story that were like confirmed to be like BS.
yeah,
And yeah,
because around the time where it would sound like they were possibly robbed, they have video evidence of them like in a gas station leaving, security guards stopping them and trying to talk to them about, I guess they seems like they broke a door off of a bathroom stall or
they were
something.
like peeing on something or
Yeah. So then there's also footage of them going back to the Olympic Village, and it looks like they have all their property. And then Ryan Lochte flees the country.
oh lies,
Yeah.
lies. You caught in those lies.
Yeah. So it's just dumb. But
And we're
yeah,
not even going to talk about the whole like. I think people were talking about like how people get upset at like Gabby Douglas or whoever for like
yeah. It's like
well
she
they're
didn't put her hand over her heart during the anthem, but this
and all
person
hell
is
broke loose.
yeah, but this other dude is damaging property in the country that's hosting him. So
Yeah, whatever. But back to wrestling.
yeah. So
You want to mention like that fan that tried to attack Seth Rollins? You want to wait till we
yeah,
get to Raw?
that it's weird the lapse in security at WWE
How do they
shows.
even get that far to get into the
It's
to go through
ridiculous.
the
I
ropes?
guess people just slowly make their way to the front and they just jump that barrier.
Because
But
like that intimacy is cool to sort of like have the fans sort of like there and stuff around the barriers and everything. You want to like be as close as to the
yeah,
fans as possible.
yeah, you don't want it to seem like a policed state.
Yeah.
But like for anybody who hasn't seen it on Raw, and you could pretty much see it on the show, but this guy
You can get like a wide view. On
yeah, it
YouTube
was
and stuff.
when Rollins was cutting his promo looking for the Demon King, you see this guy's head pop up in the foreground of this shot, and it's like, okay, that somebody just ran in the screen, but they like quickly like crop him out in the shot, and then we find out it was a fan who jumped the barrier. There's conflicting reports, like some people in the audience say they saw a knife, and other people aren't sure. So I'm wondering, like, that's just crazy that he even got that close.
I like the fact that it shows just how great Seth Rollins is.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins is with the mic and with the ad-libbing, like
Yeah,
he incorporated
yeah.
into the.
Yeah, I want to
into
get
the
to that
promo.
when we get to Raw, but yeah, he vamped it very well. But one thing I think is just weird that this has happened like 3 times with Seth Rollins specifically. Like I can't remember. It wasn't a Shield match, but it was a match because I think it was after the Shield broke up. But there was one pay-per-view match where I think they were coming out to the ring, and a guy just like runs up next to him on the ramp and acts like he's gonna enter with him. And then I think there was another person who ran into the ring. There's like a lot of these incidents with members of the Shield specifically, and I think two of them have been with Rollins.
There was like I think there was some like list on some website that I was reading where it's like the top 10 fan
run-ins
and run-ins, and it was like I think one of the ones you're talking about is like it was the Shield, and like some fan like ran up and he was wearing like what he thought he was wearing like
a SWAT team vest, like Shield
he was gonna join.
Uniform. It was ridiculous because he put like a lot of effort into it. It was like this
Kevlar vest.
This is scarily appropriate and that was cool too. How Bray Wyatt responded to it, because it was like it was the Wyatt family versus I think it was Ambrose and Reigns, because like Rollins had already left them, but it was like they were looking for their third partner or whatever, and Stu just jumps into the ring with the SWAT team vest, and Bray was like, "Is this your guy? Is this your other member?" It's just like it was just a great ad lib. It's like I remember like I was seeing like YouTube videos of this from back in the day, like when people would jump into a ring at like a WCW show, like Eddie Guerrero would like beat the shit out.
Yes, yeah, that was one of the things that was on that list.
It was like I love that. It's like you have to like make this look legit, and you have to play it off in a way that doesn't make you all look like chumps. So it's like stomp him out.
Like, exactly, got to kick his ass. Got to send an example.
Yeah.
There was like one time where like what was like a Randy Orton and some guy like what he like ran into his leg or something, like undercut him, or
it was something crazy like that. There's been a lot of these weird incidents. I remember
somebody brought a knife. Like somebody tried to attack Ambrose with like a knife or something, and he got stopped by security before he could get to him, and just that was kind of scary.
Because I know there's the one, there's another one I'm thinking about. It was with CM Punk. They weren't in the ring, but he was like, he went out into the crowd like to celebrate or whatever, and somebody like, it was kind of screwed up because it's like somebody behind the person behind him like punched him in the head, and Punk turned around, starts clobbering this guy who wasn't actually the right person, but it's just like
Oh, ooh,
These are things that can
awesome.
happen when you get when
It gets
wrestlers come out into the crowd. It's just
it gets crazy.
yeah. But yeah, so that happened,
Yeah,
and
so stay in the crowd, people.
yeah,
You don't want to spend a night in in prison.
yeah. Speaking of getting punched out, or people who could punch you out in spectacular fashion, there's some Big Show news. Uh,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah, we've been hearing
that's the
about
same amount
this.
of excitement that usually comes from mention of Big Show. But it sounds like Big Show, he's saying that this is his last year competing in the WWE. So we'll see if that's
Hopefully,
true. He's also said that the match has been confirmed with Shaq for this next WrestleMania.
why not?
So it's a weird thing that they've been teasing like for a couple of years now,
Nobody,
which is weird.
who care? I don't care. Like, who
Yeah.
cares? Only Shaq cares.
It's like one of the longest build-ups to a match in history, like
Yeah,
The Rock versus John Cena that had a year build hasn't even passed this Shaq tease. So that sounds like that's gonna happen at WrestleMania,
yeah.
and the crowd will go mild.
And the crowd goes mild.
Yeah, so that's probably the last thing that I saw that was remotely noteworthy for our news for this week, but we'll see. Um, so I think we should just get into the TV for this week. What do you think?
I think we should.
All right, so we're gonna start with the Raw. Uh, this week I took really detailed notes, and
I saw.
it was extreme. It was extremely tedious, but I think this is gonna help because it's like
I hope it didn't take the fun out of it for you.
it was a mixed experience because it was kind of like I was paying more attention than I have in a long time
Yeah, that's
watching
what
Raw,
happens. When
but
when I was taking like a TV writing class, like I had to do, I had to like watch like a sitcom and like
yeah,
detail by detail, minute by minute, what happened, and it was like,
yeah,
wow, I really didn't notice this stuff originally.
yeah,
And
it's like, oh, that person in the background is doing this. That's interesting. But yeah, so I was paying more attention, but it also felt longer, which I didn't think was possible.
That's
Because
God.
she's like during some of these matches, on a normal day I would just like fast forward a little bit. It's like, okay, if Sheamus is out, I don't need to see this.
No, no, you don't know.
But yeah, I paid attention to that stuff this time. So let's go into it. So the show starts out with Rollins outside of the arena, and he's basically cutting a promo like, "Hey, the Demon King says he's gonna be here tonight. Well, I'm looking for him now. Where is he at?" Because he has to throw in that fake Seth Rollins laugh, the worst fake laugh I've ever
Yeah, it's not,
heard.
it's not very committed
Yeah,
or believable.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how we start out. Then we see Rusev and Lana out in the ring. They're mad about their wedding celebration being interrupted last week by Roman Reigns. So he's calling out Reigns and says
He's delaying Raw.
there will be no Raw. And this Roman Reigns comes out. So then Mick Foley comes out, tries to get him out of the ring, and basically says, "Who are you, Mick Foley?
Fuck you, McFoley.
Who are you, Mick Foley? Fuck you. Suck my dick." So basically, he says, "I'm not going to listen to anybody but Stephanie McMahon." And then the music hits my favorite theme. So it's not gonna be the morning. Welcome to the Queendom.
Not the type of song you would associate with Stephanie McMahon, but hey,
No, it's
I like it though.
It's by Kaya, the singer of My Neck, My Back,
My-
and Steph just clearly loves this song. But so Steph comes bouncing out, and
He says, "Okay, look, douchebag, we're gonna."
yeah, she sides with Foley, and she's like, I support his decision, and I think you need to get out." And so Rusev just basically going off and ranting at the crowd and saying, I want Roman Reigns out here. He's a stupid
USA,
American. And
USA,
you could tell how it's
USA.
still forced, even though Roman Reigns supposed to be pushed farther down the crowd, but they're still throwing in this stuff like saying, "Oh, you stupid people support Roman Reigns." Like, no, they don't.
No, they don't. No, what the
They
hell are you
clearly
talking about? They
don't.
hated him when he was the heavyweight champ.
Yeah, and it's still like his reactions now are mixed at best. So
It's getting better though. He's getting on the good stuff.
slowly getting better, but it's more anti Rusev than it is pro Reigns.
Like if he could become like this sort of pro USA, like he's fighting for America against
It's just
this
such a
foreign guy,
cliche
maybe he would
gimmick,
have a
though.
chance. But I know, but it's like I guess for him, you know how this country is, and I guess for him that would be better than what he had going during
I
this heavyweight
guess.
champ reign. I mean, be the
I
good guy.
I guess, but if you're gonna play the pro America gimmick, you go to the South. They're gonna still be like, that guy's brown. He ain't American.
He from Hawaii.
Yeah. Show me your birth certificate. But anyway, so they set up a match for the main event, Rusev versus Reigns, to defend Lana's
Oh, it's
honor.
honor. Yeah, it's like Roman Reigns. I mean, he could care. I think what's he getting out of it? Well, he's
Yeah,
just getting like his title.
this is a lose situation. Like, I
Exactly.
don't get it. This is not a title match, and I just exhausting myself for my real match. So whatever, that's set up for later in the show. Next we see Sheamus versus Sami Zayn,
Right.
and Sheamus talks before this about his his feud with Cesaro, pretty much, and they're booing him, saying he looks stupid, and he says, "You paid to see me, so who's stupid now?"
I love
Which
that.
is
I did like
kind of a
that.
fair point. I mean, I'm sure most of those people weren't thinking about Sheamus when they bought their tickets like
Specifically,
3 months
exactly.
ago,
You're
but
you're you're kind of one of the wrestlers among many others, but whatever.
yeah. Then Sami Zayn comes out with his song that every time it hits, I just think about that Mighty Mighty Boss Tone song, like "Ever Had to Knock on Wood," because it just that's what it sounds like. But yeah, so they start out, they fight.
From all of your favorite '90s comedies. Go on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You could hear that one in Two Princes at any given point. But
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
yeah.
Yeah.
But so they start out brawling with Cesaro's there on commentary, and they bring up. I can't remember which one of the commentators brought it up, but they were like, "Oh, Cesaro, Daniel Bryan said there's an open spot for you on SmackDown because these guys don't have real contracts apparently." But he's like, "Why don't you go to SmackDown if you're disappointed with the Raw?" Because that's kind of the promo he cut when he was drafted. Like, he feels like he's been misused and didn't want to be on Raw, but now he's like changing his tune. Like, "Oh, I'm a team player and I'm staying here because this is where I was drafted." It's like, okay, I guess they decided to get him in check.
I still don't care about him. He bores me. Like the most interesting thing that's happened to him was getting suspended.
I guess so. I'm hoping that there's a turnaround because I think
He's a good wrestler,
yeah,
like technically wise.
yeah. So I just thought it was interesting, this match, that Michael Cole like was really off his game because there was a Sheamus hit his white noise move and he got it was miscalled as the Irish Curse, which is like his backbreaker, and then Sami Zayn hit the Blue Thunder driver and he called it the Michinoku driver. So it's like, okay, switch that around. But Cesaro
Yeah,
gets off
don't you-
commentary.
Makes him miss Jerry.
Yeah, yeah. Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler, I feel like they were the best commentary team, and I feel like that's just like missing now. But whatever. Cesaro gets off of commentary, comes to distract Sheamus, and he gets hit with the haluva kick, which I didn't know that was the name of the move until Sami Zayn debuted on the main roster, because I only saw Sami Zayn before this when I was playing him in the WWE 2K with like 13 game. So it's spelled like hell of a, like I thought it meant hell of a kick. They call it the haluva kick. It's like, okay, whatever.
What the?
Like a hell of a kick. That sounds better.
By the way, I think WWE 2K16 is available for free.
On Games with Gold.
I downloaded that and I played it a little bit.
I don't have Xbox Live anymore, but when I heard about that, I was really irritated because I had Xbox Live all last year, and none of the games they gave me were anything I cared about. Like
pieces of shit, pretty much.
Yeah, I played Assassin's Creed for like an hour, and then I got bored.
I have that same one too.
Yeah, so it's like I really only play wrestling games consistently, so them finally giving a wrestling game, I'm mad that I don't have it anymore, but whatever. I'll get over it.
Whatever, 2K17.
I'm not going to pay how much is Xbox Live now?
It's $9.99 a month, I believe.
Okay, so you can do it monthly. I mean, so I could pay $9 and download it, I guess, but it's still, I'll find it eventually, and I haven't been playing my Xbox like that. But
because we're working, people, we're busy.
Yeah. But next on Raw was a backstage interview with Jericho and Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Jericho,
you stupid idiot.
Yeah. Some people like Jerichoans, and I'm indifferent either way.
I'm indifferent to Chris Jericho completely.
Yeah. So I thought this backstage promo was kind of funny because they just took turns back and forth mispronouncing Tom Phillips' name. So they called him Brian, Bob, Steven, Nathaniel. It's just like they just completely dodging at every opportunity his real name, and he's not even like correcting them anymore. He's just saying like, okay, that's.
I mean, honestly, the people watching probably don't even care who the hell he is. So maybe that's the point they were trying to make.
Maybe. And I think it's funny on the topic of Tom Phillips. There was like a conspiracy theory. It was a little while ago that he was squatting down to look shorter than the wrestlers because somebody noticed that Tom Phillips, the interviewer, is actually pretty tall, and they noticed at some points it looked like he was looked on screen to be shorter than the person he was interviewing. So there's a conspiracy theory that he was squatting down to make the guys look taller and
that's nice of him.
And more manly.
These big strong wrestlers not feel inadequate.
Because that's the thing with a lot of these like independent guys that are coming through NXT. It's like there's a lot of short indie wrestlers out there.
Finn Balor.
Yeah, so it's like that. In the past, that has been a thing that was frowned on by Vince. He like big, tall, buff, manly man. So it's like, I think some of that mentality is still out there. Like, okay, we'll take a chance on you, but everybody, get on your knees and give him an apple box.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No women matches too.
Yeah, exactly. And after this interview, I thought it was interesting. There was a SmackDown commercial. It was like, tomorrow night on SmackDown, John Cena versus Del Rio and Miz TV. It's like, if you're going to sell SmackDown, those are the last two things I would ever mention.
That would have been interesting a couple of years ago, maybe.
I don't know if Del Rio was ever interesting. It was like Cena versus Del Rio. You've seen it again and again, and here it is one more time.
I mean, if there's a show that needed some of those people from NXT, like some new fresh faces, it would have been SmackDown. That's what I told you earlier, that it feels like SmackDown is turning into like the retirement, like the sort of like.
It's the Florida of the WWE.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Rhino, who didn't show up this week, and you've got, it was supposed to be more people, more of the older guys showing up, but
backstage, like you had the whole Mick Foley putting like Cesaro and like a Sheamus in a best of 7 series of starting a SummerSlam.
Yeah,
That's
which
kind of
is it's weird because it's like, okay, best of 7 series. It sounds like a good idea on paper, but it's like we've seen these guys wrestle each other. It feels like a dozen times already. So it's like, why are we gonna watch these people fight 7 more times? I'd be interested if it was the best of 7 series with Cesaro and anyone else, but like this, just Sheamus is so stale at this point. It's just like, can we count? Can we retroactively count the matches they've had already and just end this?
yeah. And it starts off the SummerSlam.
Yeah. So great. You're gonna see this for another 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hopefully they burn like 3 matches on a Raw. Like, we don't have anybody booked, so you just go 3 times in a row.
Then we had like a tag team.
Yeah. So it was the Dudley Boys versus the New Day. And there's still no Big E. And I think that's like a real gap in the at least in the New Day segments, because
I agree.
Yeah, because you always will start out with that, oh, city name here. Don't you dare be sour.
It's important. We have to have it.
Yeah, it's my favorite part of the show in most weeks. So that's just missing.
I had an opportunity to buy some Bootios at a Wizard World. A box of authentic Bootios for $12, and I thought about it, and I didn't make the investment.
So you decided to be sour.
Yes, I decided to be sour.
So you know what that means.
I know exactly what that means.
That means you're booty.
Yeah.
Because Bootios make sure you ain't booty.
Oh, yes, it does. Yeah, yes, it does. I mean, that pretty much like Lucky Charms or some like marshmallowy, whatever. I wasn't gonna eat them. I was gonna buy it as a collector's item,
but you gotta eat the Bootios like groceries.
I know. I mean, there were some like little like pocket mirrors with like the Super Mario Brothers and like the Mystery Science Theater logo on it that I couldn't pass up. They were like $2 each, man.
Well, as long as your priority is in order.
Exactly. See, I was looking for something useful.
All right. Okay, so this match was really whatever. There's more preview of the dissension between the Dudley Boys.
Yeah.
So I guess they're building to a breakup. Some people are hoping that they do Bubba Ray's Bully Ray character that he did in TNA, because that was some of his best work that he's done as a singles guy, was Bully Ray.
Yeah, I feel like they've made their debuts now on Raw, and it's time for them to sort of like do the stuff that made them successful in NXT. Finn Balor did he finally did his demon shtick, his alter ego.
Yeah,
and the crowd reacted to it very well. So.
Yeah. Let me see. What else do we have here before we get to that?
The New Day responded to the club, and they're gonna fight at SummerSlam, and
and they say you'll never get a hold of our New Day rocks. Get it? I like the little promo that the club did before the match too. Because they're continuing like the ring post-itis thing. And I just like all the little ball jokes because I'm a 13-year-old kid.
Exactly.
It's like, don't get testy, Doc. Don't let this setback peter out our passion for a cure. So I thought that was funny.
Yeah, you were having a ball.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
And the whole, after that, it's the whole like running gag, if you will, of Rollins looking for
the Demon King. Which I think is irritating that he keeps saying Demon King, because like it was in NXT, it was just called the Demon, and it wasn't like they weren't like trying to run it into the ground for branding purposes. So now we just hear Rollins saying Demon King, Demon King, Demon King for the whole show. It's like, we get that you probably copyrighted this name or whatever, but it's like, it sounds like Demon Kane when he says it, like, and that just brings up horrible memories because he spent a long time feuding with Kane and his alter ego, Demon Kane. So it's like, I would really try to distance this new character who I want to be cool from this like old tired gimmick of Kane, but that's what they're going with, Demon King. I wish they would just go back to just the demon and ignore all of that stuff, but whatever.
Maybe they'll listen to us like they did the whole
yes
thing.
Vince,
yeah,
do what I say.
We know you're listening.
Yeah. All right.
Then we get this jobber match.
Yeah, with Nia Jax, she's back for her weekly jobber match with Rachel Levy. And
wow, I'm proud that you actually looked up her name.
Yeah, I think Brian
Rainbow
Saxton. Yeah, I think Brian Saxton said her name when he was doing the interview, but I just thought her interview was kind of funny.
I did too.
Like, I've been watching the Summer Olympics nonstop, and if Team USA has taught me anything, is that I can do anything I put my mind to.
Believe in your dreams.
Yeah, so she basically says, if they can do it, then I can do it. Now, she says, I'm going to take home the gold today. It's like, well, you're not. That's not really how it works here. You're not in a title match. You're just.
They weren't wrestling against people that are much bigger and stronger.
Yeah, so that was interesting.
And then she comes out there and Nia Jax disposes of her.
Yeah, she puts her on the top rope and just shoves her over.
Yeah,
the
knocks
outside.
her unconscious.
Yeah, so I just like this little touch that she put in there. She's like, count her out. She's dead. I was like, okay, that was some good heel work. I just like when people know like what to say at the right moment during the match. Like, that's what a good heel does. They talk crap.
Yeah.
So she brings her back in. She does her move. It's kind of a fireman's carry into a side slam. It's a decent looking move. So
her stare is so lethal.
Yeah.
Ooh, she's powerful. Ooh, who's gonna challenge Nia Jax?
I have no idea. I would love for somebody like Beth Phoenix to come back, but who knows?
I would love for her to fight, and I would love for her to wrestle an actual wrestler.
Yeah. I'm thinking they're building her up for somebody. Maybe it's for Bayley, but it's like, I don't know if Bayley is necessarily the right person because she's going to come out and possibly get squashed also. So who knows? Okay, so Paul Heyman's backstage, and we find out Brock Lesnar's coming out next.
Brock Lesnar, you gonna want to fight Brock Lesnar?
So I thought this was going to be another one of those deals of Paul Heyman talks and Brock Lesnar just stands there. But exactly. We got something a little bit different.
Tired of that.
Yeah, we got something a little bit different this week. So Lesnar came out. He had his full pyro entrance for some reason on Raw. I'm like, I don't know why he needed pyro, but he got that. And Heyman's about to start his regular promo that he always does, and then he's interrupted by I'm just one man. So
the hottest free agent in wrestling.
Yeah, so Heath Slater comes out and he basically says like, okay, they told me backstage, which they were obviously trolling. It was like, hey, if you beat Brock Lesnar, you get a contract. It's like, yeah, sure. So he came out. He basically, I guess Heyman originally thought he was asking to be a Paul Heyman guy. He was like, I would never represent you. So then he was like, no, I'm challenging Brock Lesnar. So he said, all I have to do is beat Brock Lesnar tonight. So Heyman basically says, okay, cameraman, ignore him, crop him out, and focus on the money. So he tries to just go back to his promo. Slater interrupts him again and gets in their face. He says, my two little girls at home and all the other girls, all the other kids that depend on me are relying on me. It was funny, just that running gag of all his kids. So Lesnar grabs the mic and like the whole audience gasps, like, "Oh my god, he's gonna speak!" So he's like, "So you got responsibilities. You got to put food on the table. You got kids. I got kids too. I don't give a shit about your kids." It was funny because it's like those rare moments where they decide to break the PG thing. They choose them well, so I think this like it got a good reaction from the crowd. So he basically,
and then just what like he walks away. He slips and walks away, turns his back on.
yeah, because
Lesnar.
because before that he says you have two options: you can leave now, or you can stay here and keep pissing me off. So Slater acts like he's gonna leave, and then he charges at him, which is a mistake.
Smart.
Yeah. So Lesnar basically he suplexes him a few times, puts him away with the F5, and that's pretty much it for Slater.
He's comic relief.
Yeah.
I don't mind it that much.
Yeah. So Heyman finally gets back to his promo. He's like, "Well, at least Slater had to face guts to face him face to face. That's more than I could say for Randy Orton." So he goes into his thing saying that Lesnar is the box office at SummerSlam.
Like, blah,
He doesn't
blah,
have
blah,
to
blah,
sell
blah,
this match
blah.
because Brock Lesnar is why you're paying for the network, basically. One thing that I thought was interesting, the Heyman promo was whatever. They kept showing like an extreme close up on Lesnar, which made me think that like Orton was going to show up again. Yeah, but he like kept looking around like he was actually nervous that Orton was going to show up. So that was interesting that they like kept focusing on that. So after this was Enzo and Cass to come out and do their promo. Then they have Cass is fighting Kevin Owens. The match was whatever. It ended quickly with interference by Jericho. Next, backstage.
that's
not much
much
to say about that. Backstage, Rusev attacks Roman Reigns, and that's all that happens there.
I like that. It was. It's pretty like realistic looking.
Yeah, because Reigns is saying like, "Yeah, I want to fight. I want a big fight tonight," and then he just takes him out and throws him into the wall and
craft services.
Yeah. So after that, we have the primetime players music hits, and I thought it was a mistake because I'm like, okay, these guys broke up, and I don't think either one of them is using this music. But then all of a sudden, Darren Young and Titus O'Neil come out with Bob Backlund, and they do their like millions of dollars dance, which is just funny. And it was pretty much telegraphed. I was like, okay, they're trying to turn Titus O'Neil heel, so this partnership is not going to last very long. So that's what happens. Titus O'Neil gets accidentally knocked off from the apron by Darren Young, so they lose the match. And Titus, before that, Titus just comes into the ring.
Yeah,
he comes into the ring and gives Darren the Clash of the Titus, which is one of my favorite moves because I love all variations of the power bomb, and that one is like kind of like D'Lo Brown's move from back in the day, where he just picks you up under your shoulders and slams you down. So he hits that, and they lose the match. So that team was very short lived. After this, it was a quick match, jobber match basically for Neville. He beats Jinder Mahal quickly. Backstage, we see.
I want to talk about one thing. Like they've been like running promos for like the cruiserweights.
Yeah,
coming to Raw
forever.
And stuff. Exactly. So when is this gonna happen? Like I want to see some different people. I want to see the cruiserweights.
Yeah, because it's like they have a 3-hour show. They have a spot for them. So
yes, they do. They have lots of spots.
Yeah, because like all these promos, like we have one coming up after this, but there's like multiple backstage promos of Rollins looking for the Demon King. But Like they couldn't fit in a cruiserweight match in those spots.
People want to watch actual wrestling.
Yes,
All these
especially in a
damn
3 hour show. It's like
yeah.
like if you told me that the show's gonna be 3 hours of mostly talking, then I would just say no, just
Like,
turn
oh,
it
you don't
off.
want to face me, blah, I'm gonna kick
Yeah,
your ass. Like, oh, shut up, just fight.
yeah, because it's like the same formula. It's like they start out the show, they set up the main event, which they apparently had not booked before the show started, which doesn't make sense. Like, oh, just start the show. We'll figure out what's gonna happen.
Exactly. Nothing to look forward to. We don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, so it's like they could easily slot in these cruiserweight matches, but I guess we're still waiting. So we have a backstage promo because that's so important. We needed another one of those. Rollins is still looking for the Demon King. Demon King, Demon King, Demon King, Demon King. Make sure you get the branding out there. Demon King, Demon King. There's a quota. Demon King, Demon King.
What's his name again?
Demon King.
Oh.
I forgot it's been a second. So Foley was like, this would be a weird place to look for the Demon King because it's my office. You should probably look for him out in the ring. So they're just basically telling him to go call him out. And I like the little touch that they added. Mick Foley gets on the walkie-talkie and says, play Seth Rollins music. Because it's like, I always wonder, like, how do they know when certain people are going to come out if it wasn't a scheduled match or something? So I like that they actually show, like, okay, we're going to have Rollins come out, hit the music. So that it just makes it seem like a more realistic take on it, because it's like, how does the music guy know when to interrupt guys when they're cutting their promos and somebody just shows up? Like, so that was interesting.
Behind the curtain, if you will.
Yeah. Behind the gorilla position. So Rollins goes out to the ring and says, Finn Balor's scared of me. And he goes to call out the Demon King. Meanwhile, this dude we talked about before, he jumps into the ring. It looks like he was wearing a helmet or something. You only see him like for a split second on screen. Then like the cameraman like zooms in to crop him out. But I like Rollins' ad lib during this because he's like, is that the Demon King?
Yeah.
So it was a nice little way to play it off, because that could have totally derailed the entire show. So I like he kind of saved that one a little bit. So if you weren't watching or paying attention, you wouldn't really know what happened. So there's then like these sound effects that play over the speaker. They're like demon voice or whatever. And then he hits the
Venom comes out.
Yeah, the symbiote venomous Finn Balor comes out to his full demon entrance. And I was thinking, and a lot of people I've seen talk about this wonder like, why did they use this full entrance on Raw, and like, why didn't they save it for the pay-per-view? So I kind of have a mixed feeling about it. It's like, it would be special to save it for the pay-per-view, to see it for the first time, but you also have a lot of people watching Raw who have not seen this entrance before. So I think it adds a little bit of anticipation for the pay-per-view. Like, oh, this is cool. I'm going to see this guy at SummerSlam. So it kind of lets them know what it is, so they're not caught off guard by it. So it's still going to be exciting when we see it at SummerSlam. So I guess it doesn't really matter if they showed it now, but that's a lot of work to put in just to make an entrance. So it's like all that time that Seth Rollins was backstage looking for him. It's like, well, you can't find him because he's still getting his makeup put on. Probably took the whole duration of the show to get that on. So let me see what else. I had some notes about this. I was wondering.
Did you think that like the makeup that Baylor was wearing? Do you think it was like blackface? I didn't think so.
I thought about this when I first saw it, because it's like half of his face is painted black, but it's like I don't think too many people think of it that way. But I felt like it could have changed the color at this point, because I mean, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. It's still scary and intimidating, but it could have been like a navy blue or something. But it still works because it looks like the Venom character from Spider-Man or whatever. It's scary, so I guess it works, especially with the lighting. He's got kind of the when it starts out with the red light and changes to blue, it kind of just reflects however it's being lit. So I think it still works. I don't think too many people are gonna have an issue with it. So I guess it's fine. I like that there were holy shit chants when the entrance was finished. So I just like that it got a good reaction from the crowd because even the first time at NXT, people weren't expecting that. So it still got that same reaction. I like that, like people were really into it. So I think that's probably, I mean, the match is obviously going to be good, but that's probably going to be a highlight of the match. That first entrance with the Brooklyn crowd because they're extra rowdy, so they're really going to be into it.
Yeah, I thought they Corey Graves and Saxon did a nice. They did some nice work.
Yeah, describing what the demon was, because they kind of said like, okay, in Finn Balor has this door, and when he opens that door, he taps into something that is beyond his normal capabilities, and he releases the demon. So it was a good way to describe like why he gets into this character, although it doesn't really make sense because he hasn't been
that character and he doesn't wrestle.
Yeah, because he hasn't really been pushed to the edge to like have to release this. Like they've just been in a promo battle, so it's like what was
pushed to the edge to promote.
I mean, I guess this is kind of like the thing from the Avengers, like with the Incredible Hulk. Like I'm always angry. He's gonna reveal like I'm always the demon. I could just release it whenever I want. Okay. So
after that, we had Golden Truth.
Yeah, Goldust and R-Truth. They come out.
The doctors.
Yeah, the doctors.
The club.
I like that they're calling him Dr. Gallows because that was his name in New Japan, and I believe in TNA he was Doc Gallows because it was originally stood for. He was originally just Doc in TNA, and it stood for Director of Chaos, which is lame. So then he went to New Japan. He shortened it to Doc Gallows. So,
but I like this. I like this gimmick with them as like the doctors, the scientists.
Yeah, it's a funny, stupid, like old school type gimmick, but
it's a nice.
It's working.
From, what they were doing when they were with AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Being like the heels.
Yeah, so they brought out the the sample jars, which has this egg in it. This labeled Biggie. I guess that's supposed to be Biggie's testicle. It's an egg, and I was wondering why they brought it out for this match. I was like, is this like a racist joke? They're just gonna use the Kofi jar and put R-Truth's Paul in it. This is like, why do you have this out here? But either way, it was funny. They beat them pretty quickly, and then the New Day comes out and jumps the club, and they set it up that it looks like I can't remember which one they had down. I think it was Anderson, but the Xavier is gonna try to hit him in the nuts with Francesca, but he misses.
Yeah.
And it looks like he dents the trombone, like he bends it, but he doesn't seem to care. When that was like a thing back in the day, like somebody broke the trombone and he was like mourning it and had a funeral for it, but now he's just using it as a weapon. So I thought that was funny. Backstage, Charlotte is talking with Dana Brooke and said she failed her because she lost her match last week and we couldn't have a handicap match. So she says, I might ask Stephanie McMahon to replace you.
Ooh, what could that mean?
Yeah, so I wouldn't mind her going back to NXT. That can save a spot for Bayley to show up. But
yeah, we talked about it the last week. That
yeah,
she's not that interesting of a wrestler now.
Yeah, so she can use a little bit of retouching, but I don't think that's gonna happen because of what we see later. But so
That leads
Charlotte,
into a women's match between Charlotte and Alicia Fox. Alicia
yeah,
Fox making her Raw debut since the
yeah,
brand split.
and I'm sure we won't see her for another few months, and then she'll make her re-debut because it's pretty much what happens with Alicia Fox.
I like Alicia Fox. I
Yeah, she's
watched
really athletic, and I think she's just like not used.
I watched the last season of Total Divas. Don't laugh. Yeah,
So
I like it.
we need to start getting a Total Diva update from you when it comes
Nice.
back on, or a Total Bellas
Hey.
update.
I know it all, man. I care about Paige's relationships and.
I don't think we're gonna
the
see
Bella
much of
twins
Paige
are-
on the next season, but we'll see about that.
but don't you want to hear about the Bella twins and their women's panty line, Birdie B or whatever it is?
I think I do. Now that you mention it, I'm kind of curious.
That's
And
like the main reason I watch it anyway.
And it's interesting that John Laurinaitis is now their stepdad. It's kind of creepy. But whatever. Okay, so Sasha Banks was on commentary. She was saying she's not surprised what Charlotte did to Dana Brooke. Look what she did to her daddy. I feel like Sasha was kind of heelish on the mic because she was doing like the things that most heels do when they're joined on commentaries, like talking crap to Byron Saxton, talking about you're invited to my party, Corey Graves, but not you, Saxton.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
Yeah. So it was a quick win for Charlotte. She calls out Sasha, and we see this is obviously just a setup. Dana Brooke comes out. She attacks her. She locks on the figure 8 on Sasha, and people are just chanting, Charlotte sucks.
And she, injures her. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. So she'll be tender for the match on Sunday. Will she be able to keep her title?
Even though she's been making personal appearances and stuff, and check her Instagram and Twitter, and she's like,
doing
autographs. And she looks healthy.
You can still sign autographs with injured legs.
But she was like standing up, and she was like, taking selfies in the mirror, and you see her legs look good.
She's just being a trooper. She's sucking
fighting
in
through the pain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's just like how Triple H was so injured after WrestleMania that he had to show up at NXT. But either way.
So we finally get our the match between Rusev and Roman Reigns.
Yeah. So Lana comes out and she introduces him. Is the only man that can have me. Which I feel like that's probably the best heel thing that Rusev has going for him is that little line, because it's like, no, I want you, Lana. So so Rusev comes out. It's funny that as Reigns is rushing to the ring, like JoJo is announcing him, but she's also like ducking out of the ropes because she knows they're just gonna start fighting right away. So I like that touch that she's like doing it on the run. So they fight. This match is whatever. Rusev is cutting a promo during the break, basically just beating Reigns down, and then Reigns makes his comeback. Roman wins. LOL. That's the end of the show.
Yeah, we got to get through this, man.
Yeah, so let's get to SmackDown. SmackDown is the more tolerable show because it's 2 hours and it's not like, ugh. So it starts off with Miss TV, everybody's favorite segment. So
everybody has their own little chat show. I mean, Ambrose has his little chat show.
Yeah. I'm surprised they never gave one to Ziggler.
Jericho.
Like the zigzag with Dolph Ziggler. But so Dolph and Dean are out there basically talking about their match this Sunday, and
you noticed that like a fan had said something.
Yeah, because it's like because this whole reaction for Ziggler being the number one contender has not been as good as I think they were hoping. Because
No.
I think there was one show a couple weeks ago. They were like, "You people don't think I have a chance to win the championship," and you could hear people say, "No." So then he was like, in this segment, he was like, "It's like, oh, so you think, what's next for me if I lose this? What do I have left?" And then this guy in the crowd was saying, "You should retire." And he kept saying it like throughout the whole segment.
You should retire.
And then Dean says something, and then Dolph was like, "This makes me want to kick your head off of your face," which like that doesn't make sense.
Not impossible.
It makes me think of this. There's an old promo they show periodically of Owen Hart saying, "I kicked his leg out of his leg." Like what? So that's just,
but memorizing those lines, man, it's kind of difficult.
yeah, it's a funny little botch that I think is probably going to be on the next Botchamania. So Ambrose has a good point he says, "Well, you think those haters are going to go away even if you beat me? That's when the real pressure starts, and you can't handle the pressure." So Ziggler just goes into saying like, "Well, you don't know what I have. You're going to hit me with every move you've got, and you're going to still not be able to get the job done. You're going to reach down for that one last move," and then he stops and then gives him the super kick. Yeah, because, he's the Heartbreak Zig. He's really going full Shawn Michaels. Like,
exactly.
You never go full Shawn Michaels, but he is going full Shawn Michaels.
You just gotta dig down deep inside. It just makes you wanna.
Yeah. So he's like, I understand using super kick during matches as your finisher, but he's doing like the out of nowhere, like RKO out of nowhere, but he's doing like the super kick out of nowhere, like Shawn Michaels would do periodically. Like that's supposed to be his secret weapon, but it's like that's
Dolph Michaels.
It was like it hasn't been established well yet, so it's like you just doing that randomly. It still makes me think like, oh, he's cosplaying Shawn Michaels. He hasn't made that his own yet.
Wizard World.
Yeah, so that is whatever. And it was weird. They come back from the break, and apparently Miz TV continued, but it wasn't on TV.
Yeah, that shows you how important it was.
Yeah, so like during the break, he was calling out Apollo Creed because that was Daniel Bryan's mistake he made a couple weeks ago when he was announcing a match. It's like, "You're gonna face Apollo Creed." It was like, you've been watching too much Rocky. It's Apollo Crews. So I just thought it was funny that he was riffing on that. And Xavier Woods put out a tweet a little bit after that. He was saying SmackDown Live keeps talking about Creed. If you want him that bad, then you could shoot me a contract, because his character in TNA and I think on some other indies he went by Consequences Creed. And he basically had an Apollo Creed gimmick. So he had a little fun with that on Twitter.
I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah. So next, there was a tag team extravaganza.
Ooh, all the tag teams.
Yeah, so how many teams was this? It was American Alpha, the Usos, Hype Bros, the Vaudevillains, the Ascension, and Breezango, or
Tom
Foot
and
Breeze.
Jerry.
Pretty much. So a 6-on-6 match. It was pretty much a clusterfuck match. So they brawl during the match. It doesn't really have any cohesive story. It just hits a bunch of finisher sequences, and then American Alpha gets the last pin.
Yeah, they're getting all the opportunities here to be the tag team du jour.
Yeah, but they have no belts still.
Yeah, exactly.
That'll probably be announced this next week, but we'll see. Next, Naomi comes out, and before
I liked her little show.
Yeah, before she was gone for a while after the Team Bad thing with Sasha Banks, she was a heel, But with this entrance in this remix of her theme, she turned face during this entrance.
Yeah, she was like throwing out, little, glow in the dark,
like glow bracelets. She had like glowing grills. Her whole outfit glowed to match her like light up shoes. And like people were,
she had a little teeth grill or whatever.
Yeah, people were so into
mouth
it.
guard.
Yeah. I think this entrance alone just completely turned her face. But it's like it was kind of wasted because she came out for a match that didn't happen because she was supposed to be facing Eva Marie. And I just think that this version of it was funny because I like how the announcer
she regrets or whatever.
Yeah, it's like the wonderful, the talented Eva Marie has been delayed due to traffic. It's just like that pause. It's just like she will not be able to compete. Eva Marie regrets this inconvenience. So I just thought that was funny, that swerve, because you have to find new ways to do it, and now they're gonna have to find a lot of new ways to do it. Cause
exactly. Now
it's gonna have about 4 weeks of this.
They don't even have to write anything.
Yeah, so I think that JBL was siding with Eva Marie, but then I thought it was weird that he slammed into the segue, like somebody yelled in his ear. He's like, talk about Del Rio versus Cena. And he was just like, Alberto Del Rio versus John Cena last year at Hell in the Cell, and they just showed this video package. So it's reminding us of why we should care about this match, which I still didn't care about.
No, they could do whatever they could offer money.
Yeah,
I wouldn't care.
Yeah, so I think this was interesting. It showed Del Rio backstage, and AJ is talking about, I can't wait to see you beat up John Cena.
You're the man who put him out for months. You hurt his arm.
Yeah, so Del Rio's like, you may still be excited about beating up John Cena, but I've been doing it for a long time, and I don't need your pep talk to beat up John Cena again. And AJ's comeback, I just thought was funny. It was kind of a burial, and knowing what happens to him after this, it seems like they might have known what was going to happen, because it's kind of fucked up when you think about it. It's like, well, that's why I'm at the main event of SummerSlam, and you're not even on the card. It's like, yeah, he's probably not even going to be in the building.
No.
So,
or the WWE.
Yeah, so that was an interesting comeback. I like how he said it was the main event of SummerSlam, which is clearly not. It's obviously going to be Orton versus Lesnar, which is the main event. But I like that AJ, as a heel, he believes that his match is the main event no matter what else is on the card. So
I like that.
Yeah. We get some Matt facts, or Kurt Hawkins facts, but it's basically the old gimmick that Matt Hardy had back in the day. And these are basically just tired as old Chuck Norris jokes, with Chuck Norris being replaced by Kurt Hawkins, because everybody knows Kurt Hawkins, right?
I don't know Kurt Hawkins.
He was in the Major Brothers with Zack Ryder, which nobody remembers that.
No, I don't know.
So this guy is coming back to SmackDown apparently, and he never really did anything when he was there last time, and I doubt he's going to be a big deal now. This just seems like he's going to have some other dumb comedy character.
When was the last time he was on SmackDown?
That's a trivia question, which I will not get right. It's probably been over 5 years. So
Kurt Hawkins hasn't left SmackDown. SmackDown just left him.
Yeah. Kurt Hawkins has been here the whole time.
Yeah.
He's every member of the WWE universe all at once. Because that's basically what these stupid Kurt facts were. Kurt Hawkins is counted to infinity twice. Kurt Hawkins can slam a revolving door. And Kurt Hawkins doesn't flush the toilet. He scares the crap out of it. Just like, really.
I like that.
So I don't know what is going to happen with this character when he shows up, but I feel like it's probably going to just be another version of Heath Slater in reality, but we'll see. So Orton takes on Heath Slater because Slater's been promised once again that he'll receive a contract if he beats one of the main eventers for SummerSlam. So we'll find out if that happens. So Orton just basically beats the crap out of Slater. He beats him up in the corner and is ignoring the ref's admonishment, because you have a 5 count when you're in the corner. One of those rules that's never really enforced until they need a storyline reason for it. So he gets the 5 count and DQs Randy Orton. So Heath Slater has technically beat Randy Orton. Throws him over the announcer table, and they're saying on the commentary, like, this is a message to Brock Lesnar. Like, I don't think Lesnar really cares about Orton beating up a jobber, basically. So Orton then is basically taunting Lesnar, who's definitely not watching, by doing a couple of German suplexes, basically doing his best Brock Lesnar imitation, and he does like the shoulder bounce after he's done. Then we have a Wyatt promo, and it was interesting that the Wyatt promo hit. I thought it was just going to be a transition to another segment, but they showed that Randy Orton's actually watching it. He's still in the ring. And then when they come back from the break, they show that they actually cross paths. So I guess that's some foreshadowing for the next feud for Randy Orton. Backstage, we see Heath Slater. He's on the trainer's table, basically knocked out and out of it.
This was great. I thought it was funny.
So they bring in the contract because he technically won his match.
Slater's still, he's a little knocked out from the back-to-back nights of getting his ass kicked.
So he's out of it. So he says to Daniel Bryan, like, "Hey Mick, I think you're great. And your beard is way better looking than that other guy." So then
I like what he called.
He's
Shane. You're much more beautiful.
Yeah, he says Shane. It's like, Stephanie, you look so beautiful tonight. And apparently, like, Shane thought it was funny when he was talking about Daniel Bryan. Like, oh no, I think your beard looks great. But then he calls Shane by Stephanie's name, and he like takes away the contract
slowly.
Which I thought like Shane's supposed to be like the crowd pleasing fan favorite commissioner, and he takes away the contract, and people immediately start. He takes away the contract, and people immediately start booing. So it's like that is like you're totally being a heel right now, because it's people love Heath Slater.
They got to tease the whole thing,
but
like running gag.
But it's like, what is left now? And it's like, is he gonna come back to? I was like, they just reneged on his contract technically twice, because they said they were going to offer it to him. Then he basically cursed them out, and he was like, "Oh, I guess not." And then he wins the match, and then they take it away anyway because he's got a concussion, for Christ's sake. So they punish him for having a concussion.
Oh, he should just be on someone's tag team again.
I guess that's probably what this is all building up to. He's gonna not get a contract, and then Kurt Hawkins is gonna come out. He's just gonna be tagged with him, and nobody's gonna care.
Exactly. It's a living.
But I guess what they could lead up to, which they're not gonna do, but Heath Slater's been a member of many groups, so he could just take this and go to the logical next step to be like, okay, I haven't been signed by either of these shows. I'm going to go rogue and basically start a new version of the Nexus and get some other like NXT guys and come wreck shop like they did originally as the Nexus. That would be interesting. But I doubt they're going to go that route, because Slater's supposed to be a comedy character, and that would be too real. But
he's found his stock in the WWE.
Yeah. So the next match is Ambrose versus Eric Rowan. Don't care about Eric Rowan.
No, I like the one little move where he puts his hand into like Ambrose's like his mouth when he when he's picking him up.
The claw move.
That fucking scream from Ambrose.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So I think on commentary, Mauro Ranallo, which his name is so funny to me, because this other show I listened to, RBR Weekly Wrestling Talk, they said that his name sounds like what your dog would say if it was trying to speak, like Moro Moro. So
he says a lot of topical stuff.
Yeah, so he's saying lots of people are talking about Stranger Things this summer, but things don't get much stranger than or scarier than Eric Rowan. So I just thought it was a funny little topical line, and I'll say that for this week is my commentary line of the week.
Nice.
We'll follow that for the coming weeks and see who consistently has the best line of the week. I'm assuming it's probably going to be Morrow each week.
Every single week.
Yeah.
They definitely have the best
commentary.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like if they got rid of JBL, then they would absolutely have the best. Because I don't know if this is intentional, but when he was on Raw, he was always like dumping on Byron Saxton. But now he's on SmackDown, he keeps like dogging out David Otunga. It's like, is this his running joke that he's a racist? It's like, shut up, Byron. My name is David. Well, you look like Byron. Y'all look the same. But who knows? So this match is whatever. Rowan is beating down Ambrose, and Bray Wyatt's watching. Ambrose wins, of course, and then they say that Wyatt may possibly be leaving Rowan behind, because after he loses the match, he looks down at the sheep mask and just puts it down and leaves. So I think that's interesting, because they tried making Eric Rowan a singles guy a while ago, and that didn't work out very well for him. And
I think that I think that Bray Wyatt has definitely shown that he can go all solo.
He's ready to go solo, but I feel like I don't know what they're gonna do with Eric Rowan after this. He might just disappear, but I guess we'll see. Next is Carmella and Becky Lynch versus Natalya and Alexa Bliss, and I was happy about this because Carmella was already in the ring when
he didn't do it a little stupid.
Yes.
She said you ate so much.
Yeah,
my name Carmella. is Carmella.
I am the moonwalking.
Staten Island.
Yeah, so I'm glad we didn't get that this week.
We only got one entrance this week.
Yeah, Becky was the only one that came out because everybody was already in the ring. So that shows the pecking order right there. So there was a replay of Becky losing to Alexa last week with her Bliss, whatever the moonsault move is called. So Carmella and Natalya start out. We see a little bit of Carmella's offense. She does a head scissors, then does the moonwalk. Then
she was a former Laker girl, you know.
Oh, so that's where that swag comes from. Because David Otunga's like, oh, she's got some swag. She's got kind of an Iggy Azalea thing going.
What does that mean? She has a big ass.
It means she's a wigger, and people are going to be okay with her because she's cute. So that's pretty much what that means. So Becky Balboa gets a hot tag.
Fire!
I think that's my favorite thing that Becky Lynch does, like straight fire. Like,
I like how the audio just picks it up completely and clearly.
Yeah, because I guess that makes sense. Like, because I always wonder, like, because when she debuted, I was like, is her hair supposed to be red or is it orange?
Orange,
It's orange, just like straight fire. So it's supposed to be that color. Because she did something, I think she does it sometimes. I don't think she did it in this match, but she does the thing where she like stands still and just like wobbles from side to side. I guess she's supposed to be like a flame. She like shakes her head. I was like, okay,
having a seizure.
Yeah, because she, I forgot. It was on a Botchamania video. They showed her doing that on the outside, and she was fighting Charlotte, and Charlotte just starts laughing. It's like, oh, she's not supposed to do that. So I just thought that was funny. And so that match ends with
arrives.
Yeah, Eva's entrance hits, and she comes out, and Naomi comes to chase her, but Eva runs away. Natty stops Naomi and throws her out of the ring. then Becky locks in the disarmor for the win. After this, we just go backstage and see Callisto being bullied by a schoolyard bully, Baron Corbin. So he says some people are just victims, and I do what I want whenever I want to whoever I want, and that's all we get from Baron Corbin this entire show, that he's a bully.
He's unreasonable.
Yep.
They made the announcement of Jon Stewart being at SummerSlam.
So I'm excited for that. And then they announced that pretty much this same match plus 2 that we just saw with the women is going to be at SummerSlam. But now we know one of those women is going to be permanently stuck in traffic. So we'll see.
Somebody else is in there.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Take a place. Maybe it's Nikki Bella.
Yeah, so
maybe it's Bailey, who's already there in Brooklyn.
Yeah, so we'll find out tonight. So AJ Styles comes out for commentary during John Cena versus Alberto Del Rio. And I just thought some of AJ stuff on commentary, like this match, I didn't care about the match. I was really just paying attention to AJ's commentary. It was funny that he said, "Hey guys, John Cena used to be great." I can't remember which commentary. Like, he still is great, because I like David Otunga is putting in his very minimal experience on the main roster over, but he was saying, like, I tag team with John Cena. We were tag team champions together, and Cena is one of the toughest guys in his company, so he has that little bit of input that he can add to it. And I think it was just funny that he was going back and forth with, David was going back and forth with AJ, and he's just like, "Show me some respect, rookie." And I just thought that was funny, because, like, I mean, David Otunga has been in WWE longer than AJ Styles, but AJ has obviously been wrestling longer than David Otunga. So it's funny that dynamic, calling him a rookie. Like, I guess technically compared to AJ Styles, he is. So Cena lifts out of the arm breaker and wins the match. And then AJ comes off for commentary. He hits him with the phenomenal forearm, and we think it's going to be over, because, like, we just think it's going to be AJ standing tall at the end. He cuts a promo on Cena saying, "I'm sick about hearing the future runs through John Cena, because after I beat you this Sunday, I'll be the face that runs the place." So this next line I like, because he was saying that your love for WWE is great, but I'm going to make your passion your prison. I just think that's a great line, and that's probably going to be the last line on the video package they show before this match, because it was just a good way to summarize this feud. Like,
this thing that you love so much, I'm going to make you hate it.
Yeah. So I thought it was going to be over, but then AJ goes to leave the ring, but then he turns around. It's going to go beat up Cena some more. He gets him ready for the Styles Clash, but Cena reverses it, hits the attitude adjustment. Okay, it's John Cena standing.
The crap out of AJ Styles pretty much.
Yeah, so he hits that attitude adjustment. So I thought it was going to be over, but nope. Yeah, he takes him outside. He pulls the steps over to the announcer's table, then hits another attitude adjustment through the table.
He's had enough.
Yeah. Exactly. So it was funny. I read a recap of the show on RollingStone.com, and they brought up a thing that if you watch wrestling consistently, you know this is a thing, but they actually named it. It's like the law of reverse momentum means that since we see John Cena standing tall at the end of SmackDown, that probably means he's going to lose at the pay-per-view. And I hope this is true. But, you know, you can never really bet on that with John Cena, because he's the guy.
The face that runs the place.
Yeah, it would make sense for him to be the one that's beaten, because I don't think he's even going to be at the next pay-per-view, which is the SmackDown branded pay-per-view, because he's going back to film his season 2 of American Grit, his reality show that he's hosting. which I'm shocked
That
that
takes
it.
precedence over everything.
I'm shocked that it got a season 2 because
Yeah, me too. I didn't know people were watching it. It didn't seem very interesting to me.
yeah,
Just,
like if
him like
if
tough, normal people doing tough stuff.
yeah, it's like this ripoff Survivor is coming back again because we need that. But whatever.
Yeah, I haven't been like watching like wrestling long enough to know like the sort of like the laws of like reversal and stuff like that. But that does make sense. It is.
Yeah, and that's usually how it goes with like the go home match before the pay per view or the go home shows. Like if you see somebody really beaten up and looks like they're in a bad position going into the pay per view, that person is usually the person that's going to win.
The one that you think least.
Yeah.
The underdog, yeah.
Because that's the thing with WWE is they do like 50-50 booking. Yeah, so but they like to go back and forth. Like you get a win this week and then you lose next week. So they I guess the idea is that if John Cena beat up AJ Styles and looked like he was in a good spot going into the pay-per-view, but he also won at the pay-per-view, this would kind of be like you're burying AJ. Like he's not even in Cena's league. So they want to have it be 50-50 and have AJ possibly win or look better at the pay-per-view. So
because they have been building AJ up for so long now, like you can't have him lose.
Yeah,
back.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it for TV. But I wanted to do a little preview of SummerSlam because that, like I said, that's tonight, and I really want to get this podcast up before SummerSlam because I don't know if it's going to be relevant after the fact. So
yeah, that means we have to wrap this up soon.
Yeah, so
I just think that things, it was already a pretty interesting SummerSlam before, but now that you have like, a couple of spots open on the women's side, you may get some surprises there.
Yeah. And I'm trying to see if I can pull up a card from SummerSlam because it's an extra long show this year. I think it has a special start time of like 6 o'clock or something.
Yeah, it was early. Yeah, I know that there's going to be like a live viewing party somewhere here that I may or may not go to. Depends on how lazy I am in the next 3 hours.
Yeah, I think I'll just be watching it here on the WWE Network.
Nice, of course. You're through legal means.
Yes, for $9.99. I used to sit in the first row, but that's the thing that people who steal wrestling shows, inside joke for them. I used to be in the front row every pay-per-view
in the front row.
Yeah, but now I'm paying for it legally on the WWE Network for $9.99 because as JBL would say in the little promos they used to do before the pay-per-views, like, if you watch this on pay-per-view, it'll cost you $59.99. What are you, stupid? If you just subscribe to the WWE Network, you could watch it for your first month for free or $9.99.
Exactly, and it's not just pandering for the WWE. Makes sense. So the kickoff card, it's going to be a tag team extravaganza. I think it's 6-on-6. No.
It's American Alpha, Hype Bros, and the Usos versus Breezango, the Ascension, and the Vaudevillains, right?
Yeah, so it is a 6 ones. Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting for the kickoff. A lot of times I don't watch the kickoff shows, but this one seems like it might be interesting. We have Sami Zayn and Neville versus the Dudley Boys. And I think this was pretty much added at the last minute because I was wondering, like, Sami Zayn does not even have a match on SummerSlam. So I guess they just found a way to cram him in there on the preview. Cesaro versus Sheamus. It looks like this has been pushed down to the kickoff match, which is funny because it's the first of their best of seven, and they're already establishing that it's not worthy of pay-per-view. So that's just interesting. Of course, Jon Stewart's going to be there. We'll find out what his involvement is. It'll be interesting to see. We have the 6 woman tag match: Carmella, Becky Lynch, Naomi versus. It just says Natalya and Alexa Bliss. So it's going to be
it's going
to be a handicap match, or we'll find out.
And we We have to see who the surprise is going to be. Maybe it'll be leaked before their match.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's gonna be Nikki, but we'll
Yeah, I
find
am
out for
too.
sure. The IC title is defended. The Miz versus Apollo Crews, not
Not Creed.
Creed. Uh, Enzo and Cass versus Jerichoans or Jericho. The New Day versus Gallows and Anderson. Sasha Banks versus Charlotte. Rusev versus Reigns. If there's another match that could have been kicked down to the kickoff show, I feel like that was one of them, but
Yeah.
whatever. Cena versus AJ. Ambrose versus Ziggler for the World Championship. Balor versus Rollins for the Universal
The
Championship.
Universal Championship.
Yeah. He'll be champion of the universe,
Universe,
guys.
the Milky Way
Like
galaxy.
what's bigger than that?
I don't know.
Well, we know what's bigger than that.
The world
Brock-
heavyweight.
Well, Brock Lesnar is bigger than that.
Oh,
Brock Lesnar is bigger than any championship. So Lesnar versus Orton is the main event, obviously. So do you have any predictions for these matches? Let's go to just the spotlight matches, really.
yeah. I mean, I think. I mean, for the main event, I think that Orton's going to beat Lesnar.
I hope so, but I feel like I don't know if they're gonna use, because the guy who beats Brock Lesnar is going to. That's kind of like a huge push for that person, and I don't know if they're gonna use it on Orton. But I also don't know if there's anybody like an up and coming guy who they would give that win to either.
And like the fans love Orton. I mean, they've been propping Lesnar up as this like this unbeatable like force and everything and all the
So it's
the Heyman stuff and
So I'm kind of back and forth on it. Like I would like to see Orton win, but I don't know if that's how they're gonna play it. So that would be interesting. I feel like with the Balor versus Rollins match, there's no reason for Rollins to win this match. It's a new championship, so it would be nice to have a new champion. What do you think?
I mean, they could do the whole deal where like Balor loses and it's like
He
this
chases
is like this,
for it.
exactly this loss that he'll remember the next time. And it makes him more hungry. So I could see this one going.
Yeah, it gives them something to look forward to. Like they don't just blow it off. So when they have their Raw only pay-per-view, that gives some excitement for that. Like we get to see Balor get his chance at the title for a Raw only audience, I guess. Ambrose versus Ziggler, I don't think Ziggler has any chance of winning. I think this was just a placeholder match for Ambrose.
God, if he wins.
I want you to jump down a little bit to the New Day versus the Club. I don't want the New Day to lose, but the story seems like it's shaping up that way because Big E is on the shelf, and I think they're trying to build up the Club as a dominant team.
I think the Club is going to win.
Yeah, I feel like they'll win. So
New Day. They've been the tag team champs for a while.
Yeah, so they're the longest ever WWE tag champs. I think they don't have the title for the longest world tag team champions, but they have the record for WWE championship. So I guess,
and the fans will still love them either way. So they're popular.
So I guess it's about that time where they would take it off of them. So I feel like it's probably seems like the time where they would have the Club win. But I think on the other side of that, I think hopefully if the Club win, I also want AJ to win his match in the main event. So it looks like the whole group is dominant on both shows. Because I think that would just be a really good message. And you could have them all come out and celebrate together.
I just don't see the benefit of having John Cena win.
Yeah, there's no reason for it. He can afford a loss, and he's not going to be around immediately after this, I believe. Exactly. So it'd be nice if AJ wins on his show.
He doesn't need that push.
Yeah. Gallows and Anderson win, and they all come out and celebrate. And Gallows and Anderson have gold, and then they can use that as a way to be like, okay, AJ is going to go for gold now himself. So the Club will be dominating all across the roster.
Yeah, all these new faces too, new blood.
Yeah, something that'd be interesting to see if that happens at the end. So that's really only thing of note on this show. I think these other matches, I could take them or leave them, but those are really the spotlight ones. What do you think about Charlotte versus Sasha Banks?
I think, Sasha, she just got the belt. She's not going to
I feel like
now, so that's an easy predictor.
Yeah, that would be cutting her short if they took it off her now. So, yeah, I could see her winning. I feel like there's going to be some shenanigans.
Yeah, the only surprise is like who's going to be out there with Charlotte.
Yeah, but I still think she's going to pull through. So that'll be interesting. Like I said, this is a long show, even though there's only about a handful of matches I'm interested in. So I may be in and out of the SummerSlam show tonight because like a 4-hour show, I don't know if I can sit still for that long. Like Raw is already a tough enough deal, but I feel like towards the main event I'll start getting excited.
Isn't there gonna be like a NFL preseason game or something?
I think so, but you have to have your priorities in order.
Yeah,
it could do some damage to SummerSlam, but I know what I'm watching, and that's gonna be the WWE Network. Yeah,
I'll be watching Jon Stewart or John Oliver at some point.
Okay, last week tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I only see his clips on YouTube, but I'm always entertained by them. I need to start watching that show consistently because there's always something that I'm like that just wows me from his show.
Smart and funny.
Yeah, like really biting commentary.
He should have been the host of
Daily
the Daily
Show.
Show. It was too late.
Or at least the Nightly Show, which I believe has been canceled, right?
I admittedly didn't watch it.
I haven't watched either, but even still, like when Jon Stewart was at his peak, I wasn't really watching the Daily Show because it's just
the same thing over and over again. Like the government's stupid, and
it's like I felt like,
and I know that's an unpopular opinion.
Yeah, but I feel like I was just tuning in to see Weekend Updates. Like I watch Saturday Night Live every week, so that's I never really got into it, even when everybody was praising it.
Exactly. Well, like all the commentary, the funny commentary stuff, and like the Jessica Williams, Samantha Bee stuff. You could just watch the clips.
Yeah, there's
online.
So many of those, and it's like they're made for bite-sized consumption. So it's like I'll see the stuff that's noteworthy because that stuff goes viral, and I'll see it then.
Or whatever celebrity interview, I can watch that on the 5 million other talk shows.
Yeah.
But anywho, yeah, that's a SummerSlam and Raw and SmackDown, and I'll be watching SummerSlam. It looks like I was watching at home, and I finally signed up for the WWE Network. I watched the Divas Evolution little thing, the documentary thing.
I need to check that out.
Yeah,
and I have to finish because NXT Brooklyn was last night. Takeover Brooklyn. I watched a little bit of that. It was a pretty good show. I'm probably gonna finish that before SummerSlam. But yeah, so that's what's going on this Sunday, aka tonight. I'm gonna try to put this out soon. So let's wrap it up. Thank you for watching on YouTube. If you're watching this, thank you for listening to the podcast. And that's it for this episode of The Frustrated Wrestling Fan.
What's your Twitter handle, or where can people see you on the social medias?
I am at Zach from Chicago on Twitter. That's ZAC from Chicago. You can follow the show at Frustrated Grad on Twitter. What about you?
I am at Anthony Hoffman on Facebook and Twitter, and at Tony Hoffman Chi, CHI like Chicago, on Instagram.
All right. And you can follow this show as well on the website, frustratedgrad.com. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, if you're watching. And that's all you get for today.